Countess Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman and alleged serial killer from the Bathory family who owned land in the Kingdom of Hungary, now Slovakia. Bathory and 4 of her servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women from 1590 to 1610. Her servants were put on trial and convicted, whereas Bathory was imprisoned within the Castle of Csejte, where she died under mysterious circumstances. The charges levelled against Bathory have been described by several historians as a witch hunt. Other writers, such as Michael Farren in 1989, have said that the accusations against Bathory were supported by testimony from more than 300 individuals, some of whom described physical evidence and the presence of mutilated dead, dying, and imprisoned girls found at the time of her arrest. Recent sources claim that the accusations were a spectacle to destroy her family's influence in the region, which was considered a threat to the political interests of her neighbours, including the Habsburg Empire. Stories about Bathory quickly became part of the national folklore. Legends describing her vampiric tendencies, such as the tale that she bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youth, were generally recorded years after her death and are considered unreliable. Some insist she inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula, although Stoker's notes on the novel provided no direct evidence to support this hypothesis. Nicknames and literary epithets attributed to her include Blood Countess and Countess Dracula. Elizabeth was born in 1560 on a family estate in Hungary and spent her childhood at Ecsed Castle. She was raised a Calvinist Protestant, and as a child, Bathory had multiple seizures that may have been caused by epilepsy. At the time, symptoms related to epilepsy were diagnosed as the falling sickness, and treatments included rubbing blood of a non-sufferer on the lips of an epileptic or giving the epileptic a mix of a non-sufferer's blood and piece of skull as their episode ended. At the age of 13, before her first marriage, Bathory allegedly gave birth to a child. The child, said to have been fathered by a peasant boy, was supposedly given away to a local woman who was trusted by the Bathory family. The woman was paid for her actions and the child was taken to Slovakia. Evidence of this pregnancy came up long after Elizabeth's death through rumours spread by peasants. Therefore, the validity of the rumour is often disputed. Between 1602 and 1604, after rumours of Bathory's atrocities spread through the kingdom, Lutheran minister Magyar made complaints against her, both publicly and at the court in Vienna. In 1610, Matthias II assigned György Thurzó, the Palatine of Hungary, to investigate. Thurzó ordered 2 notaries to collect evidence in March 1610. By October 1610, they had collected 52 witness statements, and by 1611, that number had risen to over 300. Bathory is said to have begun killing daughters of the lesser gentry who were sent to her by their parents to learn courtly etiquette. The use of needles was also mentioned by the collaborators in court. There are many suspected forms of torture carried out by Bathory. Some witnesses named relatives who died while at Bathory's house. Others reported having seen traces of torture on dead bodies, some of which were buried in graveyards, and others in unmarked locations. On the 13th of December 1612, Nicholas Zrinski confirmed the agreement with Thurzó about the imprisonment of Bathory and distribution of the estate. On New Year's Eve 1612, Thurzó went to Csejte Castle and arrested Bathory along with 4 of her servants who were accused of being her accomplices. According to Thurzó's letter to his wife, his unannounced visit found 1 dead girl and another living prey girl in the castle, but there is no evidence that they asked her what had happened to her. Although it is commonly believed that Bathory was caught in the act of torture, she was actually having dinner. Initially, Thurzó made the declaration to Bathory's guests and villagers that he had caught her red-handed. However, she was arrested and detained prior to the discovery or presentation of the victims. It seems most likely that the claim of Thurzó's discovering Bathory covered in blood has been the embellishment of fictionalized accounts. Thurzó debated further proceedings with Bathory's son Paul and 2 of her sons-in-law, Nicholas Zrinski and György Drugeth. Her family withdrew to Transylvania, sought to avoid the loss of Bathory's property, which was at risk of being seized by the crown following a public scandal. Thurzó, along with Paul and her 2 son-in-laws, originally planned for Bathory to be sent to a nunnery. But as accounts of her actions spread, they decided to keep her under strict house arrest. Most of the witnesses testified that they had heard the accusations from others but did not see it themselves.